Good morning. Today, I am bringing you a fascinating story that I just became aware of. As I'm going into medical astrology, it's just right up my alley. It has to do with a potential emerging problem called monkeypox. What grabs me on this is one, it's medical. Two, it grabs me because my husband and I, previous to anything about this, had a conversation about what is the chance of, after we get through this, that either one, this gets really bad and it really just knocks our socks off. It's devastating. Just take a drink of water. Or two, we have some other kind of virus. Now, my husband has a lot of water in his chart and very empathic, very, very aware. Doesn't want to be, doesn't really like to acknowledge that part of himself, but he does. I mean, he is, and he shared that with me, and I shared that with him this morning, that I was thinking about what he had said. And I've always thought, I often think that when people say things, even if they don't think it matters what they're saying, if they think what they are saying has no value, think again. I don't think that's always true. I don't think everything you have to say has value. In fact, a lot of times what we have to say has very little value, to be honest. But then again, sometimes what we have to say is profound. And I would say, in this case, it might be that what he had to say was profound. And why might I be mentioning that what he had to say was profound? Well, there are several things. One, this is in tropical Placidis. So the chart that I'm using for medical, however, is the whole sign. And I will provide you with a kind of a storyline out of the medical. But first, we'll go over this chart that we have in front of us. This date that I have arrived at is not the date of monkeypox, as it's a date we don't know. The date I have here is when they first recognized a case in Wisconsin, Minnesota. And I am just basically querying the environment using a noon time, which means we don't know the birth time, obviously, of a virus, which how would we? So these are the methods under which I'm using, and I'm doing this as an event. Now it reads natal chart, but never mind that, it doesn't matter. It's an event chart. The only difference is that it's selected as a natal versus the words event chart, because it's just not an option on my software at this time. So it's probably something I need to fix a setting to make work. So I'm not going to mess with it today. So what's fascinating is this chart sets up right away, and it has reference right back to medical meaning. Now, if you look in the first house, Pluto in Virgo. Pluto is going to be about sex, death, and rock and roll. So something toxic, something penetrating. Virgo is going to be about details, medical, perhaps details, to be of service to the masses, which right off the bat, opposite the sixth house, you could see a conflict and quincunx to its eighth house, additional conflict. And quincunxes are, in that sense, one of the tools we use to read medical, because quincunxes have absolutely nothing to do with the houses with which they're pointing to. There's so many things not working together that it's easily said that it is that it's difficult. It's challenging. It's going to be something that's going to perhaps keep you awake at night. Pluto, monsters under your bed, things that scare you, right? Viruses, things that we have no control over. We can't control a virus. So no matter what, this is in quincunx to itself. Pluto on Pluto, which suggests something could be unfolding. Now, I'm not through my medical program. I'm a student. I'm finishing up my 2-year astrology program, which was a master's program, converted over to a general astrology program, astropsychology, Glenn Perry. And basically, we're done. Right now, we're going to spend the next 6 weeks, which is going to be kind of fun, doing charts where things have things in common with each other. It's called synastry, and this is sort of a form of synastry that I'm using here today, because I'm saying that a person got sick in Wisconsin, and I'm now looking to understand the correlations between them getting sick in that day. So this would be a form of that. So I'm going to take another drink of water. But at any rate, astrology is kind of my passion. I have to admit, I'm highly in love with what I've spent the last couple of years studying hard for, and quite ready to move on to something new. So in terms of learning, and I'm looking forward to the Judith Hill medical astrology. But you can see Pluto in Virgo. Let's move on to the second house, where he has Jupiter in Scorpio. He's looking to, or this virus, I'm using the word he, but in a yang kind of way. Think of it as not male or female, but as penetrating or receiving, okay? He's looking to penetrate. In fact, those of us at home, those of us who have some form of access to life in the second house, where that's where we earn, and it's about objects and so on and so forth. So the object of, if you want to think of it that way, this virus, if it's an object, is penetrating and wishes to expand. Now, in the third house, we still have Scorpio, which further states that it wants to expand and provide information about itself in the form of a crisis, something that dissolves. Maybe it dissolves people, dissolves populations of people. I don't know. But information being inserted into the public, third house, where we learn the toxic truth that's dissolving and crisis-based and perhaps painful, and could lead us to needing, yet again, injections. I'll just use that word because I don't want to get into trouble. But I can't have injections. Not everybody can have them. In college, my doctor said, you have autoimmune issues. I have very rare blood. There are just things about my overall lifetime health story that have left doctors scratching their heads going, yeah, I don't think I trust that we can give you something that we don't really fully understand how it might manifest in your body. So we're just going to say, don't do that. And I've had several doctors since then tell me the same thing. So not everybody can have injections. Not everybody wants injections. And I find it fascinating at a time where we're experiencing viruses that injections are being seriously questioned. Now, they have in the past during other pandemics. Although for whatever reasons, this time I find it a little bit hinky and I'm a little uncomfortable. And I feel like, yeah, for those of us who didn't do it, there's probably more reasons than we care to know. Now, in my case, I can't. So, and I wasn't somebody who bucked it. I asked my doctor, and not that I wanted it, I want to tell you, I felt uncomfortable. But I also wanted to eat out if I wanted to. I live in Hawaii. I want to go and eat out. I want to fly. I want to go see my kids. There's things, and I'm hearing, maybe you won't be able to fly. So all of these reasons for me, I wanted to do something with it because I didn't want to be stuck. So not any big deal. Ended up not being able to. So I have to be more careful. I still wear a mask. That's it, and if you see people wearing a mask, understand that there might be other reasons why they wear a mask, like myself. My immune system doesn't work right, and I have cancer and blah, 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 blah. And because of that, I have to take different approaches to the possibilities. So I wear a mask, and that's okay. I still buy them, and I'm using the N95 mask. Even I don't even use the cheaper ones. I use the more costly ones. I don't know if you can. Yeah, there we go. I use these N95s so that I'm safe, and I carry one with me just about everywhere I go. So let's move on to the 7th house, Mars in Pisces. Me carrying a mask everywhere I go. Mars. I'm being independent of what other people think, because it doesn't matter what you think, partner. I need to take care of me, right? I know better than you what's wrong with me. It's not a big deal. But notice that it's in Pisces. It's in crisis. There's something happening in partnership, the you and me, the us part of it, that is driving, forceful, penetrating, and crisis-based, which points back to the 3rd house of Neptune in Scorpio, saying, I'm here to infect and create a crisis. Also in the 7th house, you have Uranus, sudden, unexpected, something that busts up partnerships, something that kind of creates something new, revolutionizing, upsetting amongst partnership. And it's in Aries, which means it's going to be an adventure for our survival on top of it. So if this chart is accurate, which I don't know for sure because I've done it the way I've done it, and it's as close to the truth as right now as I'm going to be able to get to with dates for astrology, this is a very, very troubling chart. Is it a conspiracy? Did somebody do this to us? Well, the timing suggests, that's possible. We're fighting like crazy. Or is it reflective of who we've become as people, that we're so toxic that we're going to get toxic bumps all over ourselves? We're going to look like we're toxic. I don't know. As within, so without. I think those things are true. I'm going to take another drink of water. Let's move on up to the 9th house, where the 9th house is suggesting foreign travel, far away, in Taurus. So came from maybe a place that was foreign, far away. And it's going to affect house and home, Taurus. And you could think of this as being fire because it's in the house of fire. But Taurus is fixed. And it's going to be about Venus in some ways, how things look, what we love or don't love. So this could be something really to reckon with. And it points back to Neptune, where it's in opposition to that infecting loss. So, and Taurus is saying that it's going to be about, again, about objects, house, and home, where the second house is saying that it's going to expand something that is toxic or infecting. So wear a mask, be careful. I mean, I'm not for these conspiracies. I don't think they're healthy. I think that they derail us on every level. They derail our thinking. And it's not healthy to not use critical thinking. So keep that in mind, right? The ninth house, me providing you this reading, providing you information, being an astrologist, how I see myself, providing you this information from Hawaii, from afar, as it is being provided to us, again, from afar. So is it real? Probably. This chart suggests it probably is real. And to be kind of thoughtful, and again, pointing back down to that third house, Neptune, where we're going to experience loss. Then you pop on over to the 10th house, where you've got Saturn in Cancer. It's saying, I am the authorita. I'm the highest house. I'm government. I'm religion. I've got it all. I know it all. And you have limits. We all have limits. And I'm here to discipline and keep those limits part of the package, no matter what you think you can do. And it's in Cancer, within your family, within your scope of connection to others. I'm here to remind you that I'm the king. I'm in charge. I'm large and I'm in charge. I manage things. I keep it all straight. At the end of the day, it all goes through me. And I decide. I'm the boss. I'm your father. However you want to look at it. Saturn is a tough dude, right? Saturn is saying, I got it going on. And it's in water. So it means all of us. It's not just me, you. It's all of us. Okay. And then you also have Venus in Cancer, in water. It's going to relate back down to that second house of something expanding. And Venus saying that it's expanding something maybe sort of fixed, and this object that beautiful by the I don't want to use the word object, this, because it's internal. It's in Cancer. It's going to be like your blood. Okay, I'm going to insert this in your blood, and you're going to get sick. And then you have Moon in Leo, and the Moon in Leo is going, oh yeah, groups, 11th house. I have a funny story for you. I have a drama for you. I got this thing that I put into your blood, and you're going to get sick, and it's going to be a funny show. But be very careful who you hang out with, because you could get them sick too. So that Leonian, connection, how we gather in groups. Now, I'm just going to pop over. I have an article here that I want to share, and what it is the top 10 things that are known at this time about monkeypox. And I can't share the article because I don't have permission. So the first one is, a Massachusetts man traveled to Canada at the end of April to meet friends and returned in early May. And he used private transportation to go to and from, and he could have gone in a car or whatever. But he used private transportation. So they are trying to sort out they were doing the sorting of where all he went and who all he came in contact with. So that, and it's a 1-to-1 R naught, which means if I get sick, then I infect you and no one else. And then you infect someone else. COVID, for instance, they believe had an R naught of 6, which meant that, so if you get a picture of how this works, 6 means that I infect 6 people, and in exchange, each of the 6 people I infected infect 6 more people, and so on down the line. So that's how that works. That's how that math equation works. Okay, the first case of monkeypox last year, is Texas and Maryland, each case reported by people who traveled to Nigeria. Recent cases of monkeypoxes have been reported in United Kingdom, Portugal, Spain, and it is not known yet whether it's in the United States. There are some cases in Europe. Monkeypox is believed to be fatal in 1 in 10 cases, with severe disease and death more likely amongst kids. So very important to take care of this. Monkeypox typically begins as a flu-like illness, swelling in the lymph nodes, followed by a rash on the face and body. And I'm reading this, so I'm not reporting this to you as a doctor. So I want to make fair disclosure. This is for entertainment. And so yeah, don't take me, I'm reading this. Monkeypox cases are prevalent in Africa, where people have been infected through bites from rodents, small animals, and does not usually spread easily amongst people, which is good. Investigators in Europe say that most cases have been in gay or bisexual men, and officials are looking into the possibility that some infections were spread through close contacts during sex. Very interesting, troubling, and reminds me a bit of HIV. Monkeypox comes from the same family of viruses as smallpox, and smallpox vaccine works against the monkeypox. Vaccination after exposure to monkeypox virus is also possible, but can be taken only to be effective, so they say, 4 days from the date of exposure. So these are the things that we can anticipate, right, as being the story. And here we are, where we have this greater story unfolding. And at a time where people believe, not all of us, of course, some people believe that COVID was done by the government, Pluto in the first house. Now, I don't know that, nor should anybody think that that's true, because we don't have any information exactly, other than circumstantial piecemeal, gossip type of information. We don't have enough information to make those kind of stories add up. And again, it's not healthy to wallow in conspiracy theory. If you do, you need to ask yourself why you're catastrophizing. What is it in your life that you're needing that kind of emotional upset for? I mean, I've done it, and I've had a lot of trauma in my life, and I think we do it largely out of trauma. So I'm not saying that it's not normal, and in fact it is. But I want to go ahead and do the dispositor chain, which is, I'm just going to tell you a little story using this chain. And this was the medical chain under which I did, and I might take a picture of this and post it. I'm not sure, or I might make the dispositor chain on, I don't know, I'll think about it. But first of all, it starts out, the first story is that there's some thought that has to do with family and depth that looked good somehow and became how we see things. And that has led to expansion, which is creating limitations for how we see ourselves and what we're able to actually do. And this expansion is toxic the toxicity of it and the expansion of it, go back and forth and talk to each other and say, yeah, I'm toxic, and yeah, I'm going to expand, and this is how I do it. So they're providing information to each other. They're telling each other a story. Then it goes on and says, because it's time to shake up, revolutionize, and create change amongst the masses who maybe as a group just haven't respected some things, which leads to loss. And then, to add to the story, there's a desire for this thing to establish freedom and shake things up, create something amongst us in groups that's revolutionizing and crisis oriented. So those of us who are thinking crisis basis, it's not that we're wrong. We're really not. I mean, we're intuitive. We're not wrong. It's just, what is really the crisis, right? And it's easy to keep us distracted. And in distraction, of course, we're not going to make good decisions. We're not going to do the penetrating thinking, be our own detectives and make the right decisions and protect our bodies. So that reading that I just did, that's the medical chart. That's the whole house. And what does that mean? It means that it's our whole sign. I always want to call it whole house. I don't know why. Anyway, that what I just read to you is called the chain of dispositors, and I just went through and made up each planetary kind of based upon each planet's priority in the story. And so I think that there's something happening. Now, I don't know, like I said, this chart that I'm using is an event chart, and basically I'm using a date because we have no date, no known date. But what's fascinating is the stars seem to know, right? And so with that, please do hit the like, share, and subscribe. I don't grow unless people help me grow. And well, one, I want to grow, and two, I want to provide readings like this. This is my calling. This is what I love. I'm going to be a medical astrologer. And in fact, I'm getting ready to start my program here as soon as this. I got 6 more weeks, and then I have 1 week off. So 7 more weeks now. I was disappointed that I have a week off. I so want to be done that I'm like, yeah, I don't want to take a week off. Let's just keep going, even though I'm totally exhausted because we've been reading a lot of times 400 pages a week. So no minor amount of work here. And I work at this constantly, but it's about to come to a close, and I'm really ready for that. And I'm grateful. And then I'm moving on to medical astrology, which I'm very excited about because I think that's my calling. I think that's naturally what I'm meant to do. So like I said, hit the like, share, and subscribe so that I can grow. And if you would like a reading, please do contact me. I have a website, www.twiggie.com, and I need to make some repairs and change some things on there. I don't have nothing about it is quite right. I do have a presence on Facebook, Twiggie by Design, so you can also go there. But check me out, book a reading. I would just love to help you kind of see the bigger picture and make sense out of your own circumstances and maybe your Pluto story, your shadow, the things that are causing you trouble, and help you just see it and move past it, because that is how it's done. If you can spot it and you've got it, you can catalog it and put it away. So that would be what I would say is a wrap. And I thank you very much for joining me here today.